What's going on, everybody? This is Sonic Mix, and today I was sitting here and I was thinking to myself, you know what? I think I want to do another story time. So we're going to do story time episode 2. And for this story time, the story is, how do I feel about the WWE in its current state right now? Or how do I feel about the WWE right now as we speak? But let's not jump into the conclusion, because this is story time. So let's talk about the story of WWE, what was once known as Worldwide Wrestling Federation to World Wrestling Federation, and now to World Wrestling Entertainment. And now people don't really mention World Wrestling Entertainment. WWE is like its own thing. But let's go back. Let's rewind time a little bit. So the WWE has been around for well over 50 years, about as old as the WWE title, as a matter of fact. And at the time, it wasn't really anything big. It was just this company just built there, and I believe it was advertised. Yeah, it was advertised, and there were times that you were able to watch it, and then there was times that you were not able to watch it. But it didn't get big until when Hulk Hogan came into the picture. And then, of course, the creation of WrestleMania, when it was held at Madison Square Garden in New York. And the star of that was Hulk Hogan. He was the one that drew all of those people in and had a jam-packed, sold-out crowd at the Garden. So after the Hogan era left, then we jumped into the Stone Cold era, which was the Attitude era, as many people called it. And then you had The Rock, you had Mankind, you had Triple H and DX. And then, of course, around that time, you also had WCW. From where I'm going to leave off is 1999. Because that's when I started watching wrestling, when I was only 8 years old. So here we go. In 1999, which was probably, in my eyes, one of the more greatness of that time, and a time when WWE or WWF had already clinched the ratings over WCW thanks to putting on the title on Mankind in January of 98, I believe that's when it happened. It was a great time during 99. You had the Ministry of Darkness, you had D-Generation X, you had the Corporation, you had Stone Cold beating The Rock at WrestleMania 15 for the title. And you had Ken Shamrock, the world's most dangerous man. And just a lot of fantastic stories that happen around the Attitude Era. Stories that I can't really mention because I can go on for this on, and the focus is going crazy, so I'll turn the focus off for now. And then we jump into 2000. And then, of course, wait, hang on, I can't jump into 2000 yet. In 1999, you had Chris Jericho, the debut of Chris Jericho popping in. And with the whole Y2K, Y2J thing going on. And, of course, that was the time that everybody thought 2000 was the end of the world, which it wasn't. So then we jump into 2000, and we get into the debut of Kurt Angle and him being pushed to the moon when he had the Intercontinental and European Championship all in one. And then you had the Undertaker's gimmick going from the Ministry of Darkness to the American Badass gimmick that he had. One of the most memorable matches that I remember was The Rock against Triple H in the Iron Man match, Judgment Day, 60 minutes. That was a phenomenal match. Probably one of the best Iron Man matches that the WWE had to offer in 2000. And also WrestleMania 16 with the Fatal 4-Way. I never got to see WrestleMania 16. The first WrestleMania I saw was WrestleMania 17. Which, speaking of WrestleMania 17, we're going to jump into 2001. In 2001, the big match of that night was The Rock against Austin, and Austin turning heel, which a lot of people at the time didn't really seem to like, because Stone Cold was this good guy, but when you kind of looked at Austin, he did kind of look more as like an anti-hero because he would just come and just stunner anybody that came in his way. So he did kind of play a bit of a role as an anti-hero. And then in 2001, you also had the Alliance, when WCW and ECW fused together to form the Alliance against WWF. And then that story went on for about 6 months, I think that went for about. And then you had the Invasion storyline, when a week before Invasion, Stone Cold would be a good guy again. And then in Invasion, he would become a heel again. So, and then a lot of people didn't like about that. Of course, when I was little, I liked about it, because I was 9 years old when that, no, I was 10 years old when that happened. So, to me, I was excited that Stone Cold was this bad guy and all that. And then the Alliance ended in 2001 at Survivor Series when The Rock, representing Team WWF, beat it Team Austin, representing the Alliance. And then, of course, after that, that's when Stone Cold became the face again, but a lot of people still remember what he did during the Alliance time of that era. 2002, it was the comeback of Hollywood Hulk Hogan along with the NWO, Kevin Nash and Scott Hall, and what was supposed to be Austin against Hollywood Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania 18 turned out to be The Rock against Hulk Hogan. And I remember sitting down watching WrestleMania 18, and the crowd went completely nuts for Hulk Hogan. And that match should have been the main event. But because of Triple H when he won the Rumble and his comeback from the injury that he suffered in 2001, the main event was Triple H against Jericho, and there wasn't really not much of a reaction. It was kind of like the Randy Orton Triple H match at WrestleMania 25, but we're not going to jump that far. Also in 2002, it was the introduction of Brock Lesnar. And around 2002, that was also when The Rock went to leave WWE and go into the movies. He then would come back, win the Undisputed title, and then would lose to Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam, which a lot of people seem to love that. And I don't know if they loved it because either A, he went into the movies, B, it was because of Hulk Hogan, him beating Hulk Hogan, or C, it was both. So Brock Lesnar was more of the face of the company, and that's why he was known as the next big thing in WWE. In 2003, we had what many people call is the greatest WrestleMania of all time. You had Lesnar against Kurt Angle. You had the return of Shawn Michaels coming back to a WrestleMania against Chris Jericho. You had Triple H against Booker T. You had what many people would consider to be the final encounter, The Rock against Austin 3. Just a phenomenal show that happened. Phenomenal. But why is it so phenomenal? Kind of a funny story. I ain't never seen the show. So that's why I've heard from people that it's a phenomenal show. And I can already see your comments. Man, you missed out on the greatest show of all time. And you know what? I did. Kind of a funny story, actually. It was was it a week after? It was the day before Raw. And I remember, like, seeing, like, all of these matches already done and happened. And I remember seeing Brock Lesnar as the WWE champion. I was like, wait a minute, I thought Kurt Angle was the champion. I remember WrestleMania was yesterday. I'm like, damn it! I missed it. So I kind of kicked myself in the ass for that, because I was like, ugh, missed it. I don't remember too much about 2003, to be honest. I do remember the Born of Evolution, and of course Eric Bischoff. And I don't remember too much about 2003, to be honest with you. And then in 2004, that was when Chris Benoit won the Rumble at Entry 1. And then, of course, the big talk, WrestleMania 20, when it was the triple threat, Benoit, Michaels, and Triple H as the champion. And that's when Benoit won the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania 20. Another match to mention, Goldberg against Brock Lesnar, a match that had so much hype that it turned out to be one of the biggest disappointing matches of all time. And also the returning of the Dead Man Undertaker after his American Badass gimmick was over in Survivor Series of 2003. 2004 was more of the time that it was still good, but it did have some flaws. I would say Raw was good, but SmackDown was bad because you had JBL as champion, and you wanted JBL to lose, and JBL would not lose the belt. Great talker, I would give him that, but his wrestling ability just sucked. Sucked big time. Another thing I want to go back in 2003 was the introduction of John Cena, when it was all about the ruthless aggression, which actually, when he said ruthless aggression, I think that's when it started, the ruthless aggression era. And who would ever thought John Cena would be this big superstar, which we'll get to that in a moment. In 2005, when John Cena and Batista won their titles in their respective brands, Batista representing Raw, Cena representing SmackDown, it did left a whole new taste. Kind of like a new taste of the new bloods. Because Cena was still new, Batista was still new. So that era was definitely the era of like the new bloods, or at least just that year. And I remember when John Cena beat a JBL, I marked out big time because John Cena was this cool rapper. And then all of a sudden, he was facing these guys that I liked on Raw, like Christian and Jericho. And then that's when I started to slowly not really like John Cena. 2005, I would say, was a good year. Sure, yes, there were flaws. I can't really think of the flaws, but 2005 was good. It was definitely good for what it was worth, and WrestleMania 21 was also a good show as well. In 2006 year was okay. Although I did miss out of going to the Allstate Arena in Chicago. I was very sad and disappointed about it because I missed on the biggest show of all time. And during 2006, that's when I started to not like Cena because he kept winning the belt, and it was kind of starting to get to that time where it was like you already started to get sick and tired of Cena. I think actually around that time, that was the time when you started to slowly, very slowly get the chance of let's go Cena, Cena sucks. You slowly started to get that chance. And I remember when Cena beat a Triple H, I got pissed. I got pissed so bad. And I had a buddy in high school at the time who was really into Cena. And I remember he kind of, I don't know if you want to say rub it in, but he did kind of was like, yeah, Cena beat a Triple H. And I was like, kind of got me frustrated after having to hear him say that. But 2006 was okay. The Spirit Squad stable was stupid. The DX, the reuniting of DX was probably the most memorable moment in all of 2006 from what I can remember. And everything else after that was okay. WrestleMania 22 was pretty good. Although, what I kind of liked about it was that every match was a stipulation. Which is kind of ironic in a way, because you never usually see that. And I think also, I might sound critical about this, but it was also the start of Rey Mysterio ruining the World Heavyweight Championship, because there's a reason why it's called the World Heavyweight and not World Championship. And I know when, as there's a knocking on my door, which I don't want to answer it because there's 15 minutes and I don't want to ruin what I'm talking about. When Rey Mysterio won the World Championship, It was called World Champion, not World Heavyweight Champion, because Rey Mysterio was a cruiserweight. And for them to announce the World Heavyweight Champion would sound pretty weird. So 2006 for me was okay. It was really nothing special. 2007. The worst year ever. Probably the worst year ever that WWE had to offer. You had the Great Khali winning the World Heavyweight Champion when he's the worst wrestler right now. And it amazes me how he's still around. I don't understand how that guy is still around. I mean, I guess he is that special attraction, but he's nothing special. I mean, I'll give Khali. He was something because of his height and his monster heel gimmick, but he never had the wrestling ability, and that's why he sucked so bad. And then you had John Cena having this 1-year title reign, and by that time, people got sick and tired of Cena. They didn't like Cena, and he beat Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 23, which I was hoping Michaels would win, and then Cena won, and I got pissed off about it. But then again, who didn't? But the middle of the year of 07 was bad, like very bad. But then after No Mercy of 07, that's when it got better. Of course, it would get better the last 3 months of the year. So 2007 was really bad. 2008, I would say, was the makeup of 2007. 2008 to me was good, and the unfortunate thing is that it would be considered to be the last great year, because you had WrestleMania 24, which was a good pay-per-view, the retirement of Ric Flair, and every pay-per-view that I remember ordering, I enjoyed. Judgment Day was a good show. SummerSlam was okay. Of course, the match of the night was Edge against Taker, Hell in a Cell. The Scramble match at Unforgiven. Then the Unsanctioned match between Michaels and Jericho. Phenomenal pay-per-view, at least I thought it was. And even Night of Champions was a good show. So 2008 was definitely a good year for wrestling, and I consider 2008 to be the makeup of 2007. 2009, kind of a funny story actually. From the start of 09 to SummerSlam, I never knew it was PG. Because I remember, because I don't usually pay attention to the rating thing, the rating, TV PG, TV 14 and all that, because it would be small, so you couldn't read it, or you could easily miss it, and that's why it's big now. It's like the size of, I'll mention it in an annotation, like how big it actually is, and that's why people now can't miss it. But I remember, just sitting down watching Raw, and these people are not really swearing. And I'm like, why are they not swearing? And then I find out till SummerSlam was PG. Yeah, 8 months. Kind of bad, I know. But wrestling in 2009. This is the point where it started to kind of go bad in a way. I mean, I might sound I'm a bit being too nice, but 2009 was okay. I think just one of the problems I had was that in that whole year, it was going to Orton, then going to John Cena, then going back to Orton, then going back to Cena again. You had the reunite of DX, which was good. Jeff Hardy, CM Punk, their rivalry was good. So overall, it was okay. Then another reason why I say it was okay, well, of course, another reason why I say it was okay was that half of the pay-per-views, if not more than half, were at least okay to good. Royal Rumble was pretty good from what I can remember. No Way Out was good. WrestleMania, it was okay. I guess I can't really say it was good for what it was worth. SummerSlam, Night of Champions, Breaking Point, Survivor Series, and maybe one or two more was good. Although, They got rid of the TV 14 pay-per-views like No Way Out, Backlash, Judgment Day, and No Way Out were the last 3 TV 14 pay-per-views. And then they changed it the next year into like Extreme Rules and Over the Limit. It's just these stupid shows. Oh, of course, Over the Limit has sucked since it started. 2010. 2010, I would say, not as good as 09. Although you had the NXT, and then you had the Invasion of the Nexus, which I think was probably the only good thing that came out of 2010. And then you made Cena join Nexus, which they had a chance to turn him entirely heel, but they didn't. WrestleMania 26 was a memorable show when you had Shawn Michaels retire. Cena Batista, I would give credit. That was a good match. Jericho, Edge, that was a good match. Money in the Bank, which unfortunately was the last Money in the Bank, was good. Good show right there. And other than that, everything was okay. Not like I said, not as good as 2009. But speaking of 2011, now we go into 2011. WrestleMania 27. You know, I look at WrestleMania 27 and I say to myself, they had so many opportunities that WrestleMania 27 could have been the third, maybe second greatest show. Turns into... Although I went to WrestleMania 27 in person. Yes, I flew from Illinois to Atlanta, Georgia with a buddy in 2011. And don't get me wrong, I had a phenomenal time in 2011 going to WrestleMania 27. I had a phenomenal experience. And you know what? I would love to go back to WrestleMania again. If the chance were to ever come again, I would. But being there live and in person, I thought it was a good show. But at the same time, I was very focused on it. And, I mean, even though the atmosphere was good, the show was okay. I guess I couldn't really say it was phenomenal or good. The main event, Miz against John Cena. Who wanted to see that match? Yeah, that's like a 5-star quality match there. Then you had The Rock coming out helping The Miz, and that didn't make The Miz look any good. Triple H against The Undertaker was like the only match that was only good about it. Cody Rhodes Mysterio was good. Del Rio Edge, which unfortunately and sadly, 2011 WrestleMania, Edge's would be Edge's last match. Sad. And I still miss Edge to this day. And what made 2011 more screwy was that when Edge left, you had Christian being the face of SmackDown. And then Orton basically comes in and kills it. And then you give Christian another title run, and you make him lose again to Orton. I completely pissed on that one. I did not like how they made Christian win the title after that ladder match in Extreme Rules to making him lose it within 2 days. And then who could ever forget the infamous pipe bomb that CM Punk made on that June day? Was it June? I think it was like late June, early July. One of the best promos and one of the best storylines ever in that whole era. Or in that whole year, I should say. Tremendous promo shoot. Tremendous storyline between him and John Cena. And the atmosphere. And I went to Money in the Bank. I went to that show. And believe me when I say this, it was awesome. The crowd was so into it. There was not one fan chanting for Cena. It was like ECW One Night Stand of 2006 when the whole crowd booed at Cena and everybody was behind Rob Van Dam. And everybody had the sign, if Punk loses, we riot. If Cena wins, we riot. Just like the ECW One Night Stand. It had that memorable moment when the crowd did that. I'm just checking the time here. Which I don't have to check time, because I can go over 30 minutes, I can go over 80 minutes. So I have nothing to worry about. But let's continue onward. So 2011, how can I say? I guess overall it was okay. Yeah, I know, I guess I'm trying to sound too nice to it. But it was okay, sad, because Edge left. And this was the year that SmackDown started to become not watchable. At least that's how I felt. 2012, WrestleMania, The Rock versus John Cena. A lot of people thought that Cena was going to win. At least I think a lot of people betted that Cena was going to win. But who won? The Rock. Oh man, I marked out so hard when The Rock won. I celebrated so hard that there was like no end tomorrow. That's how much I celebrated. Undertaker, Triple H 3, Hell in a Cell. It was okay for a Hell in a Cell, but disappointing at the same time. But what made it memorable was the ending with the three guys hugging at the stage, and it basically showed that it was the end of an era. And those two guys are basically the last of the era, of the Attitude Era. Another memorable was CM Punk's 1 year as WWE Champion, which we haven't seen since when Cena held the belt for 1 year in 2007. And I gotta say, CM Punk made that belt worth something again. And I think he did a tremendous job as the WWE Champion when he kept it for 434 days. And in 2012, not so much of a good year. I mean, I guess I could go over the years. Like, I could go 2008 Royal Rumble to Armageddon and just try to remember how the matches were. But it would be too long, and I don't know. I mean, I guess I could do something like that, but I don't know the title of what I would name it. I mean, I guess I could put it in like a talk time topic, but like I said, I guess it would drag on too long. But 2012, WrestleMania was okay. At least it was better than 27. At least that's what I thought. Extreme Rules was good. I went to the Extreme Rules events at the Allstate Arena at that time in 2012. SummerSlam, nothing too special. Brock Lesnar Triple H was very slow and kind of disappointing at the same time. Night of Champions was good. I'm actually glad that they're making Night of Champions as like a show that you have to watch, because Night of Champions is a must-care-about show. I like how they make it worth like all the care in the world. And now we go into 2013. The Rock beat it, CM Punk. Cena beat it The Rock at Mania, which was no surprise. And I hate to say this, WrestleMania, I could give a review about it, actually. Maybe just to try to kill more time, I guess. But WrestleMania 29 was not a good show. Granted, yes, there were, at least how I felt, at least there were 2 matches that were good, but everything else was either disappointing or nothing worth to talk about. And we got Extreme Rules coming up, which is next week, Sunday. Not this Sunday, next week, May 19th. So how do I feel about the WWE current state? From 1998 to 2002, awesome year. Can't complain. 2003 to 2006, good year. I would actually say between that, it was a good. 2007 to 2008, okay. Started off bad, but it made it up. And then the PG era, 2009 to now, hasn't been all that great. Granted, yes, I hope it does get better. Maybe it will get better. But for now, it's not doing too great. And I think it's time. Oh, there's a phone call. Oh, man. You know what? I'm going to quickly end this video. Then I'm going to give my one buddy a call. So, not doing too good. And that's all I got to say. So, let me give my friend a call back. And until then, you guys have a good one. And I'll talk to you guys later.